we work with people that are working, both partners working. We work with heaps of trades, all sorts of different people from all sorts of walks of life. And I was just like, I'm so grateful that I get to see all these cool people just living out their dream and trying to set themselves up for freedom in the future. G'day, it's Ben and Simon here from Pumped On Property. Now in today's video, we're going to do something a bit different, and that's talk about Tony and Adam, two of our absolute legend clients that we've worked with recently. Now, these guys came to us looking for a good property at the right time in the market cycle with the potential for some capital growth as well as cash flow. So in this one, we're going to explain exactly what their goals were, what their challenges were, and the specific properties we've bought, what rent returns they can expect, and the cool things they're going to do down the line to these properties to increase the cash flow. So come take a look. Absolute legend of guys, and thank you so much, guys, for letting us share this info. So the first client we wanted to talk about was Tony. Now, talk us a little bit through Tony, man, because he is an absolute legend.
Tony's an absolute champion. He's almost 30 years of age, so super young guy, just getting into it. Actually from up here on the Sunshine Coast as well, and he reached out in 2020 and we kind of got the conversation started, and there was already like immediately that value alignment. He's a snowboarder, he's a surfer, he's just a really cool guy. He's got great values and just looking to set himself up with a good portfolio in the future that's going to give him some more choices. He's not looking to be the rich guy. He's not looking to drive the Lamborghinis. He's not looking to get rich quick. He just wants to have choices to head over to Canada or head over Indo and go on some surf trips and some snowboard trips when he's a little bit older. When he first came to us, he was really looking at purchasing a property that was going to give him some positive cash flow so it wouldn't affect his life too much. And he also wanted to rent vest because the Sunshine Coast market at the time is really hot, and he knew that he was getting priced out, but he didn't want to miss out on that opportunity. So he decided to forego some of those first home buyer grants and get himself into an awesome investment grade property. Some of the things he was really struggling with is a community of like-minded people, and he didn't have a mentor or coach, so he didn't have anybody to bounce these ideas off. He was the first one in his family to actually go out there and buy an investment. So what we helped him do is really develop a strategy. We helped him get educated on the market, get him to a point where he felt confident with buying an investment property. And then, the strategy that we decided for him was to go for, a low investment grade property in an area about 22 kilometers from the Brisbane CBD. He wanted to buy on a nice big 600 plus square meter piece of land, a nice low maintenance, 3-bedroom, 1 or 2 bathroom house. And we ended up executing every single one of them for him and picked up a property at $387,000, which was an amazing purchase price. He's expecting to rent that out for about $370,000, so getting real close to that 5% yield whilst being only 22 kilometers from the 3rd largest capital city in Australia. Now, Tony's planning to build a granny flat in the backyard, so with it being a nice big block and having a nice wide frontage, it makes it a bit easier for us to develop this property and put a nice granny flat in the backyard. So we've actually had some granny flat providers go through, and it's looking like it's going to cost about 150 grand to build the granny flat. And then he'll be able to get an extra $300 a week worth of rental income from that. So, that's obviously an amazing opportunity for Tony, because once he's got the granny flat built and rented out, it's going to be well and truly positive cash flow. So he's going to be able to continue doing his thing and enjoying his life. And it's also going to speed up that process to get him into that next property. So, we work with a lot of guys like Tony, and, super proud of everything that he's been able to achieve this year so far. And, it's just really nice to see these goals come into fruition and see him moving towards his longer term goal as well.
Fully. What was cool about Tony is when he came in, he knew what he wanted longer term, but he didn't know how to execute the next step. He also wasn't loving his role. He's just a really, really casual, cool guy. And so, through working with us, he's built his confidence up, which he already had. He looks like Johnny Depp in Blow sort of guy. He's just a dude. But he has decided that he might be exploring a mortgage broking path and might start his own business down the line. And it's just epic to see like the possibilities and the choices in his future that he's now confident enough to make. And he realized that buying property was so much easier than he expected with that help and that support that Simon and I were able to provide him. So absolute ledge. We work with heaps of people under 30, guys and girls. I was talking to my wife last night. Like yesterday I was speaking to a couple who's living in Thailand, running this incredible online supplement business. Last week I'm speaking to a young fella in Bitcoin that's made a lot of money in the last few years.
Done so well.
We're working with professional soccer players at the moment. We've worked with professional singers before, all in this age bracket. We've got a chick at the moment that runs $1 million business a year on Twitch, like an online gaming streaming thing where guys pay to watch her play games. Like we work with people that are working, both partners working. We work with heaps of trades, all sorts of different people from all sorts of walks of life. And I was just like, I'm so grateful that I get to see all these cool people just living out their dream and trying to set themselves up for freedom in the future.
It's honestly the best, because everybody's got different values, everybody's got different goals, but everybody's working towards a life that is going to give them choices. And that's what we're really trying to do here, is just set up a good portfolio that's going to give us that. And I love that Tony's going to have the freedom to make that decision, to take that leap of faith and go start his own business once he's bought his next one and got his next granny flat. So awesome result there, Tony. Thanks so much for letting us share this, mate. But let's move on and talk a little bit more about Adam, another one of our clients that we work with.
I was just looking and I'm like, man, you were just so on Tony's details. I'm like, I better look that down and get on the same page with ads. Like I helped ads and Tony personally buy the properties in the last couple of months and it was so fun. But ads came up to us. He's been following us for almost a couple of years online.
Yeah.
I remember speaking to him at the start of the coronavirus in 2020 and it just wasn't the right time for him at that stage. He wasn't sure what was going to happen in his business. Now, he set up his own business. He's living in a great suburb called Stafford, about 8 k's from the city of Brisbane with beautiful city views. He runs a business that helps create dentures, I think, or something like that, and then works in line with some dentists to like execute them, and he's fucking killing it.
Yeah,
like just
he's really
the nicest dude I've ever met. Like when he came in the office, he's just got so much charisma and just such a good energy about him, and we're just so stoked to catch up. So his plan was to effectively work on the same thing that Simon and I is, which is taking a little bit of the income that we earn through our job or through our business and repurposing it in property. So he just wanted a passive income and some choices down the line. Not that he didn't enjoy his business, but he just wanted the choice sooner in the future than retirement age to decide what he wanted to do. He has a couple of kids at the moment playing b-ball, and he's sort of doing the same thing that I am on the weekends, just driving the kids around and just loving what they're up to.
I was thinking this on the weekend, hey, because I was actually chatting to somebody. I was down the beach going for a surf, and I talked to a friend. He's like, "Oh, I'm on kid duties this morning. I got to take the kids as Chriso. He couldn't come for a surf because he had to take the kids to soccer." I'm like, "Oh, that's a thing. I'm gonna have to take my kids to sport instead of surfing in the future." I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, soccer's on at 9 till 11 o'clock every Saturday for my daughter, and I'm like, make sure I get in the water before it.
Yeah,
for sure. But some of the challenges that he had was he had started his own business not that long ago, and so getting those couple of years tax returns can be tough. So it's about him partnering with the right accountant, which he had, to help him obviously show enough profit to be able to move into the market. He was time poor, like he had his family, his health and his business as his major priority. So he was really looking for someone to spend 15 to 30 minutes a week with him, educating him, but behind the scenes spending 40, 50 hours a week doing the running around like we did for him. He had a really bad experience in the past where he got completely stitched up by a property market, I think, and had a really bad outcome. So unfortunately he was sort of licking those wounds and trying to recover from some of those scars.
And this happens, people make mistakes. It's unfortunate, but you've just got to learn to accept it and still move past those, like exactly what Adam has done here.
He because of those experiences his confidence had been belted a bit. So even though he's a very successful business person, his confidence as an investor had been nailed. I can tell you it's completely through the roof again now. Over the last 3 months of working together, he's just stepped and stepped and stepped.
Completely elevated
outcome. So what we were able to buy for him was again, because he was looking for that capital growth and cash flow option, he wanted, because he could afford to, a higher quality part of the city with much higher average household income. So the suburb we chose has an income of almost $2,000 a week. He wanted a very low vacancy rate because the last thing he wanted was his property sitting flat. And he wanted a place where there was a much higher percentage of mums and dads living there. So we chose a suburb with only 19% renters, 81% owner occupiers. And that gave him the comfort level that he wasn't just investing close to the city, but it was in the right suburb, the right street, on a huge block of land. I think he got an 818 square metre block. Beautiful big frontage, beautiful high quality brick and tile home. I think you and Tay were actually looking to buy that one before.
We did, yeah, but we couldn't service that amount, unfortunately. But at least it went through to the right one. Same thing happened with Tony, but we thought Tony deserved it more than we did.
We always got to put the clients first,
of course,
then pick up the scraps for ourselves. But he, bought that for $550,000. He should be able to rent that out for $500 a week, and then because of the quality of the suburb and the conditions in that part of the city, he should be able to build a really nice large granny flat and rent that for at least another $350 a week. So $850 a week from a $700,000 spend. Now, Simon said before that the price for Tony's granny flat, and the same with Adam's, was about $150K. The actual price of the granny flat's only $125K for a beautiful, really large one, but councils in Brisbane are taking big contributions. They're making you put in concrete, fencing, landscaping, and so when you add all of those site costs up, plus the contribution fee to the council, it ends up to be more like that 150 mark.
But running through these numbers, obviously it still makes a lot of sense. With these record low interest rates at the moment, still super positive cash flow strategy, and gives you a hell of a lot of choices soon enough. So it's unfortunately a part of investing, right? We have to work with the banks, we have to work with the councils, and still move toward where we want to be.
Without a doubt. Now, in both instances, these were very, very high demand suburbs. So one of the ways that we look at that is this DSR score, demand to supply ratio score. In Tony's instance, I think it was sitting at 68, which is freaking hot.
It is.
In Adam's instance, it's 71, which is extremely hot. Now, what that meant is that every time a property came online during the entire journey for these guys, it was being sold within 1 to 3 days. And so that was the benefit of working with us. We were able to find off-market listings for them to consider. We were able to look on realestate.com and Domain 5 days a week for them and find them an incredible outcome, and then leverage off the relationships that we've built over the last 5 years to help them secure a great home at a great price. And what's crazy is before settlement, both of these clients on these properties have probably made somewhere between $10,000 and $20,000 of equity, just because they bought so well, and that's exciting for us. So both of them have taken a huge step towards where they want to be. Both of them have built some education, some processes, and some knowledge to help them invest better with or without our support in the future. And both of them will end up with properties down the line that rent for over $1,000 a week that they can pay off outright and get a passive income in the future for life, which is the reason we're doing this.
Yeah, exactly. I love the opportunity that is available to us at the moment, where we've got
so
low property prices, we've got low interest rates, we've got good rental yields in Brisbane, we've got a lack of performance over the last decade up here in Brizzy. So it's kind of the perfect storm where all of these things are coming together to enable us to set these opportunities up. Now, in my opinion, I don't think this opportunity is going to last much longer than like 3 or 4 years from now, because at some point in time, we're going to have to sacrifice either the capital growth or the cash flow in this strategy. But fortunately for Tony and Adam, they've been able to, jump into the market and set this portfolio up, which is going to make it so much easier for them longer term to achieve their goal of financial freedom.
I love that. So for any of you guys who are interested in doing something similar to Tony or Adam, please jump over to the website www.pumpedonproperty.com. Book in a free strategy session over there where you can talk with Simon or myself or one of the team members about where you are, where you'd like to be down the line. We can give you a deep market education on what's happening in Australia and Brisbane, and then you can take that and go smash it on your own, or maybe you can become one of the small number of clients that we get to work with each month and come have some fun, come hang out, and most importantly, build that confidence and get an incredibly high quality outcome that sets you and your family or you and your partner up for your future. So we wish you all the best. Thank you. Please share this with someone who'd like to see it. If you haven't already done so, you've got to subscribe.
Hit that red button.
Give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, also jump over to the podcast, the Pumped On Property Show. But we're so grateful. We wish you all the best. And as always, please stay safe and invest with confidence.
Sweaty. So sweaty. Oh, that's good.